Alright, welcome back to the Career Build Series. This is episode 75. And so, had a blue screen on my PC, so just did a couple things off camera because of that. Not much. I just hooked up a couple displays that weren't actively hooked up. I think I changed the prop value. Let me double check, make sure that got changed. Actually, I didn't change it. I did change the prop value, but what caused us to end up in the ocean last time was the seat also controls the prop values, and it was set to toggle. So I just went on the seat and made sure it was set to where are we at here? 3 and 4. They are pushes now, and then spacebar or the trigger is that should also be a push. So I just fixed that too. All right, good. So what do we do? So I went flying in that video, or I think that was the last video. I'm all confused now because I had the blue screen of death. So need to add a pitch fin. So what I'm going to do is just take one of these, and I'm going to put it on one side. Often you'll see this on a helicopter. It has one on one side. And I think I kind of want to go low on it. I want to kind of have it near the center of gravity. I think right about there is probably good. I just need the one. You'll often see them have one. And then I want to go to my... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the gyro. I mean, definitely for roll, I want the gyro. Where's stabilized roll? Stabilized roll will go here to the two fins. And where's my stabilized pitch? Yeah, that's fine. Stabilized pitch. Stabilized pitch will go to this one. And now I'm going to go test it. I'm going to make sure it's turning in the right direction. Let me open these doors. Alright, so I'm just going to get in there and hammer on W and S and see what it looks like here. I'm going to turn on infinite electricity. I didn't connect that up. Alright, so I'm trying to pitch the nose up. So it should be pushing the tail down. Currently, it is doing the opposite. It's going to raise the tail, so that's inverted. This would be me trying to pitch down with W. That would raise the tail up and raise the nose up. So that's just inverted, so let's fix that. All right, we'll take it for a quick test flight. I want to see how it flies. All right, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and spawn it. Let's do a quick flight here. I want to test as much as I can in one flight. All right, I'll go ahead, and there were a couple gauges that were broken too, but I'll come back and do that. I want to get focused on flight here. I want to get this to the point where it's working well. Kind of gauges be damned. Presently the infinite electricity is back on, so just for that pitch fin. All right, that closes nicely now, so I like that. Master power's on. Make sure I don't have any weird trims in there. I don't. So I'll put in a compensation system for that auto yaw control. Essentially, we'll try to maintain negative. I'm going to press 6 to turn on the gyro. I need to throttle up. I can either do it with those buttons or I can do it with the one key, which is what I'm doing right now is one key. I'll install a headset on the seat so it's not so loud. That's probably in the loud side right now. Once I get outside of this hangar, I'll go in the volume and turn down the game volume just a little bit so I'm not having to speak over it. But as you notice, there's a nice feature having the compass ball right behind my HSI, or not really HSI, my PFD on the HUD there. I can use that as a backup, which is nice and convenient. So let me go ahead and there we go. Turn that way down. All right, so did I invert it? I don't think I inverted it. Let me go ahead and bring this back in. There's a couple things I need to do anyways, and I want to double check it. I can't remember. I'm a little flustered after having the blue screen on me. All right, so we're also not getting fuel reading. We're also not getting a accurate battery or discharge reading. So I think One of the battery nodes must not be. Let me look how my electricity's set up here. Okay, so this one's not connected to these. Alright, so that would be why the batteries weren't going down. I think I deleted one and it didn't come back up. Or I was going to do a backup battery, that's what it was. The plan is to do a backup battery as one of them, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that disconnected for now. Starting to remember some of the stuff I was doing. So, okay, so that's connected. All right, let's see what the battery setting is. So where are we at here? Okay, this is not, that battery that I'm sending to this panel is not connected. That one's the backup battery. So I'm going to send this one here to there. The backup battery will be the one that will be segregated on different systems. So that should fix the battery. Where's my fuel? Fuel is here, so I just haven't connected that yet, so that would be why that's doing that. And there's fuel tank, so that fixes those two. Let me go out really quick and test the elevator. Again, you guys will probably remember what I did. Okay, so that is pushing down the tail, and that is going to pitch our nose up, so I'm holding down SW is pitch down. That's going to lift the tail and lower the nose, so that works. Okay, good. So let's go for a flight. Door. I don't know if I like the cockpit door over on that side, but you know, it's where I have space at the moment. I'm going to throttle up with the 1 key. I'm actually going to hold it here as I watch it. Another reason why, you know, situationally it's nice to have it there. Could even, well, I had a notion to put the gauges in the middle. That's kind of would be cool. I don't know how that would look. Oh, 6. Let me hit 6. I don't know if I have vehicle damage on or not, but it doesn't matter really at the moment. All right, let's get out of this hangar and get moving. I should have put the headset on the seat, but I didn't. All right, so let's go get up and let's go and see if we have some good stable flight. I'm gonna start bringing the prop up. I'll go to about 10% to start. Get a little speed going here. All right, so we have certainly enough yaw authority. Okay, what's our speed presently? Presently doing 45, which is good. Let's start bringing the prop up some more. About 26%, so we'll do 25, 26%. I'm going to make it so we can't do negative pitch. There's no real reason for negative pitch, and it also makes the lines, so that'd be 25, 50, 75, 100. So that's kind of what I want to do that. So I have good roll authority with those fins now. Those are going to be needed for as we get up in speed. The rotors really don't do a good job anymore. My pitch, I actually can kind of pitch now. That's because I have the tail, that new tail fin there. So I'm pitching pretty well now. I'm doing 132 knots in a dive. Doing well over 100, that's good. You know, yeah, so we're in the neighborhood of 125, 130 knots. That's what we want. I don't want this thing to be 200 knots. You know, my fixed wing Hummingbird does like 230, does 200 on max efficiency. So we were talking before too how you know, I need to decrease the gearing on this front prop. It's just too much. You know, like, here, let me start putting in more. We'll see it should stall at my engine. It's just going to be too much for it. So as you increase your prop more, you're slowing down the RPM, whatever you're going by, and that's going to give you the ability to have, yeah, see, we're starting to run into issues here. I don't have enough power anymore to work that tail rotor, and as you can see, it's starting to cause me to lose it. So I need to down gear the front prop, which is fine. That's expected. There's only an 8-cylinder engine, so. All right, so let me go to let's do a 6-to-1. Yeah, let me do a 6-to-1 gear ratio. I keep forgetting to set this day to stay on day. All right. While I'm up there, let me do this. Actually, I don't care about that until I get my altitude hold installed. I was gonna use the harnesses, but until I have my altitude hold installed, there's no point in really doing that. I'm gonna take out all my trims here. I'm gonna just manually hold it. Start going up on. Start going up on. Bring the throttle up. Yeah. So what's happening pretty simply is the prop is robbing too much energy from the tail rotor, and then the tail rotor can't fix our yaw anymore. Which what could fix that as well is putting on a tail fin for rudder. That would fix that because then it doesn't need the tail rotor anymore. So that's a thought as well. But I kind of I want this to be fast but not insane. I want it to be kind of realistic. So start adding in prop. Let's go right to about 26%. 27.5 is fine. Let's see what our speed is. So we should be taking some more, it shouldn't be dipping our RPS. So there's 65. Let's keep going up. So let's go more. Let's go 50. That's 40 something. There's 100 knots. So I'm happy with 120 knots. Is really, if I can get 120 knots and still be running well, I'm thrilled with that. So let's go up to 75%. So we want to be able to use our whole prop range without having it destroy us. We're in the 130. We're tapping 130. We're not going to sustain it, which is fine. Okay, so I think, do I add a little tail fin? I may. So as we get up to higher speeds, we can use it. Okay, where are we at now? We're at about 71. Let's start adding up. Let's go max prop pitch. And we should be able to get this RPM. Okay, we're starting to rob a ton of power off the rotor. So we're losing our rotor effectiveness. I have no tail effectiveness now. I'm hard over. Alright, so 6.1 is still way too high. So let me nip this in the bud really quick. Let me see. Let me try 4-1. So that's a 3-1. That's a 2-1. Let's make this a 2-1. That would be a 4-1. And then I'm just going to do this test. And then if we want to go lower than a 4-1, I'm going to go right to a 3-1, and then I don't need 2 gearboxes. Which, again, if I can get 120 knots and have this fly properly, I'm happy. Again, I haven't put on any sort of stability yet for the yaw. That will come with the autopilot system. Alright, so make sure that's full throttle. Alright, we're at full throttle now. Start adding in some prop pitch. Alright, here we go. Let's go right to 50. Alright, we're still up around 700 RPM, which is good. To kind of put that in perspective, Rougeot has 2 12-cylinder modulars. I think they run up around 5 to 600. So that's, burning about half the fuel that burns in this to go 65 knots right now. Let's keep going up. All right, so grabbing some more prop pitch. We're up to about 77%. We're up right around 94 knots, 95 knots, and climbing. All right, so if we can get over 100, I am thrilled. Still have good RPM, so we still have plenty we can go. So let's go all the way up to 100. Okay, so I could probably, see we're still climbing in RPM, so we can still increase our prop because we're not, are we losing RPM? We are not losing RPM. We're actually gaining RPM. So a 4 to 1, we can go higher than a 4 to 1. So that's, we're doing 117 knots. Beautiful. So the way I'm going to check controllability is how much of my yaw do I have to use to make, say, a right-hand turn. Can I make it? I can make it. Let me make a left-hand turn. No problem. All right, I'm starting to rob some energy now by using the tail rotor a lot. Let me see if it recovers. So remember, spacebar will idle my prop. So if I had an emergency like that where I have RPM too low and I can't get back up, like now we don't. Let's see how much trim I need to hold my nose in place. Okay, so see, we're pretty much holding. See, I'm almost using up all my yaw to hold myself at 112. All right. So that prop's robbing some right now, so I can't. And I'm actually dropping. So let's press the spacebar, see if my prop goes to 0. Prop goes to 0. RPM should come back up. And I left the trim in there. All right, so that's not bad, actually. So I need to be careful with that. I'm actually, I think I'm going to try, let me try a 3 to 1. See how this performs. So what I'm going to do is go back to 3 to 1. And I'll go 1 to 1. Let's spawn it. And we'll see how this performs. It was still working fine, but I want to make it so that everybody who's not a professional pilot can operate this. Essentially what I was doing, I don't have any helicopter experience. I have just some conceptual helicopter experiences from my degree, but I've never flown a helicopter. But the part of the thought process there is you're essentially stealing your too much energy, and I couldn't get the rotor spun back up, and so that space bar will automatically idle the front prop, and so that's essentially it's making the helicopter do less work, and so I should be able to get power back. Well, I waited pretty late to do it, so waiting that late to do it is just you're gonna get to a point where it's unrecoverable. We're already falling like a stone. My RPM was coming up. It was working to get back, but it just wasn't coming up fast enough. So let me make sure my thrust is all the way up. Okay, so we're about 740, it looks like, is where we cap out. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting in some, throwing a bunch of trim here. Okay, let's start putting in some, I started lowering my RPM to them. Is my gyro on? I don't know if it is or not. All right, so I'm starting to making sure my engine's at full. It is. I'm gonna start hitting 3. That's gonna start bringing my prop pitch forward. All right, so we're still up around 700. I'm gonna bring in more prop pitch. Again, if I can get 120, I'm happy. And I don't want it to have any issues with again, you shouldn't have to be a professional pilot to fly this. I want to get this where people can fly it reliably, and if I have to, tell everybody how to realistically fly an aircraft and not overexert it, not, you want to be able to do quick yaws and everything else and not rob all your RPM. So let's go right to 100. And we're stabilized around, we're still climbing, that's perfect. Let's see our speed, 77, that's slow for me. I'm going to try to get some more speed out of this. So I will increase the the RPM of the prop. Okay, so that's a good test. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring it back. So I'll quickly we'll do the easy math here. Let's pull it in. All right, so presently we have a 3-to-1 gear ratio on there. I need to multiply it by something, so let's go 3, 2. So 3-to-1, 3, 2 is 3 times 3 is 9 over 3. Nope. 1 times 9, it's 9 over 2, so that's a 4.5 to 1. So 4.5 to 1 gear ratio. Let's spawn that. All right, so let's check out a 4.5 to 1 gear ratio, see if this gives me the desired outcome. Check my trims. I'm going to just jam in a little bit of trim there. Let's turn on the gyro. I'm going to start bringing my RPM up. I want to get rid of that negative pitch. I don't need that at all. Okay, let's get out of this hangar. Flying very nicely now. Very controllable. Okay, good. Alright, so I'm just going to start adding in some prop pitch here. Alright, so that's good and zippy. Start getting going. Presently we're at 37%. I do it 52 knots. Still up pretty high. We start, make sure I have my engine all the way up. It is. Alright, there's about 80 knots there. Alright, so I'm looking for about 120. Let's go more. Let's go up around 75-ish. Okay, there's about 75. We're up over 100. Let's keep watching that. All right, so we're watching two gauges here, RPM and prop pitch. All right, there's 108. Still have really good RPM. Let's keep increasing. Let's go up to about, let's go to 100. Let's nip it in the bud and see where we're at. We're dropping very minor. 123 knots. So this, I think, is very nice. I'm not going to be able to do a ton of crazy maneuvering. Like if I try doing snap turns with my rotor, I'm going to eat up all that RPM from putting too much load on it. You know, so like I'm turning it right now, I can take out some of that trim. So I'm thinking I'm going to want a vertical tail stabilizer on there. So I might put one on there underneath the tail. I'm not sure yet. I might put a little one to kind of cheat it a little bit. That requires no torque off my engine. You know, I could even put a lockout clutch on the tail rotor, so that at a certain speed it locks out the clutch on the tail rotor, or it clutches the tail rotor so that it doesn't not using. I kind of like this little eyebrow section. You can't really see it in the cockpit, so it's good. I don't miss not seeing above me. I actually prefer it. So 126 knots, that's really good. It's maneuvering nicely still. It needs a stability system, but you know that's to be expected. You know, so I need to feed a stability system through all these control surfaces and everything. So that's something to do, but like you see, we can operate it. All right, so that's good. That's my new gear ratio here for the. So that's a 4.5 to 1. So that's good. Let's save this. All right. All right, so that's nice. That's a 4.5 to 1. That works. I think everything's really working pretty well. Let me look at putting on some sort of tail control. If I delete this, am I? Oh, don't do that. If I delete this, am I going to hate it? And then stick a fin in there. It's gonna probably. I'm going to hate it. I bet. What if I go like this? Yeah, I don't like that. That I don't mind with it sticking out the bottom like that. let me delete that and see if I put straight blocks in there. And then I think a wedge. And let's see what I think of that. That's not bad. Okay, that's without. That's with. I don't know. I just don't know. Let's try this. Let's go like this. Okay, stop that please, thank you. And then go like that. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh my god, I like turned it every way that I didn't want to turn it. Okay, that's not bad. And then put it on here. That I like that. Kind of gives it almost like a fishtail. That's looking pretty cool there. Yeah, I like that. Continues that angle along. I like the lines of it. Alright, so now that goes stabilize yaw to here. Alright, so now let's see if this give me everything I want. So I've stabilized pitch, stabilized roll on my fins, stabilized yaw on my rudder. Alright, so we're going to go for a stability test. Hopefully this operates well. Turn on the gyro 6. Go ahead and hold 1. Start getting my RPS up. Make sure it's turning in the right direction. It is. Okay, that's going in the right direction now. Okay. Alright, I like the new tail. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that's looking good. I like that even better. That accents it well. Looks almost like a fishy. Alright, let's see. We're sitting pretty stable now. Little bit of right hand yaw. Okay, let's start increasing our prop pitch. And now that fin can have more effectiveness at these higher speeds. And it'll take some of that load off the tail rotor. See how it likes to hold a roll. That's been happening a lot with a conventional helicopter. You see how much roll it wants to hold? So I think what I need to do is, I think it's something with the rotor at high speeds. Let me trim this all in here. Yeah, so see how so what I'm doing here is I'm essentially trimming level flight. So I should have this ball right in the middle, which is pretty close right now. So like right now, you see how it's pitch. I need to fix the pitch just a little bit. So see how that ball's right in the middle? I want to go to the right a little bit. All right, actually left a little bit. So I want that ball to be perfectly centered, okay? Now, if that ball is perfectly centered and the line's centered, we're not rolling, we're not yawing, we're not pitching. So that's perfectly centered. Now let's look at our trims. So we're using 36% of our pitch trim, 35% of our what's that, roll, and we're using 10% of our yaw. And that's well within spec. So we have a lot left in there. We have a lot of range of motion. So that's going to allow whatever stability system I bake for this to easily keep this level and operating well. So that's great. So this is working really well. So 132 knots. That's wonderful. So again, 132 knots. It's nice and fast, nice and stable. We're not robbing any of the power for that. We're robbing much power for the tail rotor. We're at 612 RPM. Fuel. I don't know why our fuel's okay. I didn't index the gauge, so I actually don't know how much is in there. That's why it looks low, is I don't know how much is in there. So we're at 89 gallons right now. So I can calculate when we're going to be empty. So what I might do is put a camera. I need to work on my Lua skills, but put a camera and then maybe some time to empty information. Yeah. Trying to think if I want to move some gauges around. I may want to move prop and RPM to here so they're right in front of me, but I don't know. I don't know yet. That's something I have to decide. But it's working really well. Yeah, you can see we're already down here, doing 132 knots. All right, so this is really good. Katydid, I think, is up to the task now of doing some missions. You know, I think we'll make this a quicker video, and then I think the next one will be themed of doing pretty much. You know, we don't need an autopilot right now, but you know, I can start putting an autopilot together at some point. And I can also, I really want to do actually do a mission. So with this to test it out. So this is actually the first time I've ever been up here and actually seen the top of the volcanoes and stuff. It came down and in with the submarine, but just came here and didn't do much. So let's check out this system here and put in a waypoint. And let's see what it's doing. It's telling me 0 to 1. So let's put a nav strobes. 0 to 2. So let's put in a 0. So we need to turn it. Actually, I can't. So I'm going to roll and a little bit of yaw. 0 to 2 is the heading. It's just jittery because I'm tapping my yaw. Now let's see how it's affecting. It's dropping my RPMs a little bit. Yeah, it's starting to eat a bunch of power, so I just need to be a little careful on it. Yeah, it's starting to rob a little bit of power. So what I'll do is I'll put a lockout that when we're at higher RPMs, that it's using the fins, not the rotors. See, like right there, I just hit the space bar trying to get this to catch back up. So I hit the space bar kind of as an emergency, trying to get the RPMs to come back up. Remember, I said I want to do that earlier than I need to. And okay, so now we're back up to speed. All right, so that space bar saved me from having a crash there. I was doing so much yawing with the tail rotor, I was stealing all the RPM from the engine because it was already using a lot for the prop. So what I did is when I hit the space bar, it took away all the load on the prop. See, this is not pointing in the right direction. I need to figure this out. You know, like the heading is fine. The ADF needle is not pointing where it should be pointing, so I have to look at that. I have to see what's up with that. So anyways, I hit the space bar and it caused it so that I got all my energy back that I was given to the prop. And so it it unloaded the prop. So the prop didn't have any load on it, so I could get my load back to spin the rotor back up, and that way I wasn't going to lose any altitude. So that's kind of a good safety feature. All right, back up to 130 knots. We're not going to need to do much in the way of... So we should be back there pretty soon. Let me look. So yeah, like that's 3 minutes. So if we look, we're here. We'll be there in 3 minutes. So this is going to be a really good rescue vehicle. Should be able to lift a good bit of weight as well. I don't want to do like car towing missions. I want to kind of keep it realistic. I'd rather, you know, turn in the pickup that I made into a tow truck for those types of things. But this is definitely good for rescues. And I think the last thing we'll do in this video is, unfortunately, I left it But I want to do, let me see if I can actually see my door handle. See, it's blowing against the door. I can't see the door handle. What I could do is this. If I can get that block below it. There we go. Okay, that's outside now. Alright, so this is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back to the base and save it. This is great. Pretty much the only thing I have left to do is the autopilot. So I would say this is now in our stable to be able to be used in missions. So that's one of the things why I've been kind of cranking on this so much, trying to get this done, is I really wanted to get the Katydid into some missions. And so I think we're there. It functions. I can navigate now. You know, that one gauge isn't working, but that's not critical to me actually getting somewhere. I don't need the needle. I'm not doing an ADF approach. Alright, so I'm going to hover this again. This doesn't have altitude hold or any of that. It needs some autopilot work, but that will come. Alright, so let's get started up. And then should probably flip that so I can turn the light on and off, but not dim it. I have to, I don't mind getting out of the seat to do it. Alright, so let's just get going here. I'm going to trim it up. Put on 6 for the gyro. I'm just going to hover. I'm going to try to go down and come back up on the winches. So pretty simple. So that's definitely gyro off. That's gyro on. Okay. So that'll be commanded by the AP master button. The way I usually set up my autopilots is the AP master, when you push that button, that's required for all the modes to work. It also turns on the gyro. And then if you want altitude hold, you have to put a number greater than 0 in here and have this button on. If you want to do a heading hold, you have to put a number greater than 0 and this button on. If you want to go to the bearing 2, you have to press this and have this button on. And then if if the autopilot was doing something you didn't want, you just press that off and it should stop it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get this trimmed up. I just need a little bit of roll trim there. Okay, should be able to go up and down on these now. Okay, so we're going to do a rescue simulation here. Hatch is going to go, actually I'm going to jump in my harness first. 6 is hatch. Okay, now let's go down with 2. I had to double tap it, I think, which isn't what I want. Alright, so the other one should be coming down. There we go. We have 2. Let's actually take a pic of this for the video. Okay. Alright, so there we go. There's my, so there's the Katydid set up for a rescue. Alright, so we're going to go down, and this is how we'd rescue people. Alright, so we're going to go on down. I actually don't mind the speed. It seems a little slow, but it's also, I don't want anything to break. Once I have an altitude hold there, an altitude and a heading hold, I should be, I'm not going to put a position keeping hold in there. I actually could keep the bearing 2 on, and it would automatically kind of turn back to the bearing, but, I don't know how much I want to do that. Because I don't want it moving itself. I kind of want it hanging. If I set it up, like if I face it in the wind and put a little prop in to hold it. So we can go, these will go 20 meters, so we can go 60 feet off the ground. We're probably getting close to that now. But as you see, I can go down with it. I can jump off. I can grab a person. I can put them in the harness. I can get back in my harness. I can do winches up. And here we go up. So I'm going to double the speed of these winches, I think, and that's probably about it. But, so we're going back up. Let me take another pick. So, yep, they're a little on the slow side. I'll probably double the speed. They'll probably double their speed, and that will be pretty satisfactory. So yeah, this works well, having the two of them. And then kind of wish I didn't go all the way down. Am I actually going up? Should be able to spam one and have it just stay going up. Yeah, we're going up. It's just slow. Let me bring it back in. Let's double the speed. So yep, they're working, I think. Let me double the speed of those winches. I'll do one quick last test, and then we'll call it that for this. But then I think this is in the stable, and I think we can work with that. So let's go to, we'll do 2.5. I don't want to take forever. Let's do 2.5. Okay. Yeah, so this should be good for missions. Really like the way this is turning out. Yep, so that's nice and fast. That's going to be quicker. All right. Let's go pilot seat. I should have shut the hatch, but should have shut the door. All right, so let's throttle up. Let's turn on 6. Let's get up. Now let's head towards outside. All right, I don't want to go too far down. I'm not gonna bother getting off the winches. I'm just gonna go down a little bit, go back up. All right. Are we translating? We are translating a little bit, so I'm just gonna roll to the right just a hair. Okay, good. All right, let me get out of the seat. Let me get in a far seat so that I don't fall down that hatch. Let's go down. I'm having a double tap. I think that's part of the okay, what's up with this now? Yep, there's me falling my death. Okay. Let me see what's up with this now. The button's not working properly. Let me see what the harness is reading. None of the hotkeys are on. Okay. Alright, so I don't know why it's doing that. It needs to just mimic the same. The buttons on the wall are working fine. Okay, let me try it again. Alright, let's go down 2. See, I'm having a double tap it. I shouldn't have to double tap it. Why am I getting stuck there? Alright, so that's something new that's doing. So it's going down too fast. It's having problems with the speed there. Actually, I'm stuck in this hole now. Yeah. Okay, so I think the speed needs to be slower. Alright, anyways, that's something we can work on another time. Just let me do this really quick. Instead of me having to launch it 100,000 times, let's do this. Do some pink blocks here. Symmetry on. Okay. Quick and easy way to do it. Alright. Spawn that up there. Now I can better control this. Okay, 1 should raise it. Okay, 1's doing nothing. 2 lowers. Okay, so I think it's just a number problem on my end. Let me fix it. Okay, so 1 should be, that's the wrong harness. 1 should be push winches up. 2 should be push winches down. Okay, so 1 and 2. And then what are these? 8 and 10. Okay, 1 and 2, 8 and 10. 1 and 2, 8 and 10. Okay, 1 and 2, 8 and 10. That's winches. 1. 1 is not connected. No wonder. 1 and 2, 8 and 10. Okay, so that was probably what the problem was. 2 I had to double tap, but that's, I don't think, a big deal. Okay. So that was disconnected, so no wonder it wasn't working. Okay, hatch please, thank you. All right, connect that, jump in the harness, 1. See, that hatch will, that winch will automatically stop when it gets all the way to the top. Okay. 2. 2. 2. 1. 1. All right, so yep, that's working. All right, so we go up. We'll go ahead and press 6. Hatch closes. I jump out. I can grab the passenger, put them in a seat. Okay, time for another one. Jump in 6. 2. Okay, that's why I'm going to double tap it. It was okay. So this is okay. The speed is causing problems here, where I'm falling too fast, and my player doesn't have time for the foot to slip out before the winch kicks them. Before they lay down and block the door, and then the cable comes out too fast. So let's go 1.5s. So I don't want them super duper fast either. Okay. And then so we haven't touched paint on this either. So I'm glad that it's kind of to the point where it's working, and then that's when I'll be happy to start painting it. But it's now a piece of equipment in the stable. Once this winch gets finished and put away, that is working, and so now that means I can go back to doing some missions. And as the missions pop up, if I get any air missions, I can just go do them. And I can also build some accessories, like if we get a fire and I need a Bambi bucket, I can grab the Bambi bucket. Okay, so now let's do 6 for hatch. Let's do 2. Okay, so that's better. 1. 1. Okay, so the first 1 is to stop it, to bring it to the neutral position. Now I need to hit 2 to bring it to 0, to the neutral position. Then 2 again brings it down. Okay, so that's better. It was dropping me so fast that it was turning me sideways. My foot was getting caught, and then it was laying me across. So 1.5 seems to be working. All right, so 1, jump out. Okay, grab a person, jump back in. Up, I hit the wrong one. 1, and here we go. Now we're both going up. So this is a good rescue vehicle. This is going to work nicely for us. All right, here we go. 6, closes the hatch. I like this roof line better too. All right, we grab the person. Okay, we're all set. Let's close this door. So the door is kind of tough to see sometimes, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, beautiful. All right, and that works. That's awesome. Okay, so that was a good way to test it instead of me having to fire it up and go out there every time. All right, so autopilot is really the last thing to really finish this up. But you see how it was usable when I trimmed it, so that's good. Let me save it. Okay, so that's really doing well. All right, so I think we're gonna end there. We've spent a lot, I've spent a lot of time with Katydid lately. I'm starting to fall in love with this as a build, and that's kind of why I wanted to do it. Is once you kind of fall in love with your build and you really want to work on that one thing, I think it's really cool. It makes it a lot of fun. So I've been enjoying working on this. I've been enjoying the changes, the different shapes it's been taken. I love the huge chonky landing gear. That's really cool. I like the shape. I'm glad I made the back a little bit wider. Um, this line here I'm not thrilled about, but it's not bad. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not my favorite. I could try to incorporate something, but I lose the ladder accessibility. So, I could try something, fleshing something out across here, but it's unlikely with the door would be screwed up. So, I'm liking where it is right now. It's good. So I'm happy with it, and I think that's good. So we'll be able to use this in the career now. Throw coat of paint on it, and I think we'll be in business here. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.